everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome to the last 10 ebooks that I acquired, which I'm going to be honest is already out of date because I typed up these notes and then may have purchased some more. So they'll feature in another one at some point. As per usual, when I've downloaded these, it's either because they've been free because someone's recommended them, or I've heard the title somewhere and a vague synopsis and it sounded interesting, but then possibly promptly forgot the reason why I downloaded it. So what I have here are the titles, the authors, the series name if it's part of a series, and then some keywords that I think are reasons why I picked up this book. We're going to go with that because that's pretty much how I roll. I'm going to admit that the first one, I think it was because it was free, and that might be because it's a novella entry point to a series. It's Sealed by Sybil Bartel, which is book 0.5 in the Alpha Elite series. It is the prequel to Alpha, and it is, I think, the backstory of the hero from that. Well, it must be because his name is Adam Alpha Trefor. And I'm pretty sure it's just a really short novella entry point into the series. Military romance, so I will check it out and see what it's like. I should do another video where I just read a whole stack of novellas, because that would be fun. Then I have Corrado by Bethany-Kris, which I believe I saw on Jen's channel. It is the Guzzi Legacy 1. So it is an MMF dark romance, possibly mafia romance. I'm really sorry, Jen, if I completely misremembered that, but I definitely was intrigued by this because it is an MMF romance, and it can be hard to find menage stories that are MMF with swords crossing rather than just MFM menages, which I prefer MMF. I prefer there to be a relationship between everyone in any combination. So that's just me personally. And I know I've got a stack of MMF books on my Kindle to try because there will probably be like a weekend reading vlog video where I've just read a whole stack of MMF books coming out in the near future. I also got A Touch of Malice by Scarlett and Clair, which is the third book in her Hades and Persephone series, and I'm really excited to pick it up and read it because I only just recently read the second book, and it would be good to continue it sooner rather than later because it's fresh in my mind. And we all know how I feel about Hades and Persephone stories. Then I have Runposey Run by Cate C. Wells. This is another dark romance mafia story. I think it's possibly a morality chain, which is probably why I downloaded it. I can't remember who I saw this one from. I'm really sorry. I also picked up Blaze and Ashes by Suzanne Wright, which are books 2 and 3 in the Dark and New series, which is a demon paranormal romance series. I started reading this series during the Love in the Night readathon, and I read Burn and I loved it so much. I also ended up purchasing The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I was umming and ahhing about whether or not to continue reading some of their books, but I heard really fantastic things about this one. And granted, Fated Mates, the podcast, was the one that sold me on it. I was listening to their episode where they were talking to Christina Lauren, and the book just sounded like something right up my alley. So it's about a company that has come up with a way to help people find their soulmates based on genetic stuff. I'm not a scientist. So this woman, I don't know if she has kids or not, but she's a little bit older and she's a little bit skeptical, but she decides to give it a shot regardless. And she ends up getting like something like a 98% match with someone, which is unheard of because it's that high. And it's with the creator of this process, and she already knows him and they don't get along and she thinks it's a load of rubbish. But then the company offers her money in order to spend some time with him and to be paraded around as sort of that ideal match because it's just perfect. He's the creator of it and he's found his perfect match through his own system. I'm really intrigued to try it and read it because it does sound like something I would like. I also have Killing Jericho by Will Harker, which is Scott Jericho book number 1. I think this is a queer thriller story, and that's about all I know. Again, I can't remember where I found that one, but I am looking forward to it. I'm trying to stretch out into different queer stories as well this year. I also have Crash Into You by J.H. Croix, which is a military romance with a pilot hero. It's set in Alaska, which Alaska, Antarctica, and New Orleans are like the 3 places where if a story is set there, I'll read it automatically, plus anything that's set in Melbourne or Victoria. And I also believe that this is an office romance. I do have a thing for pilot heroes. And then I also have Tallowwood by N.R. Walker, which is the first book in the Tallowwood series. And N.R. Walker, I believe, is an Australian queer author. This is an MM romance mystery, and it's about a Sydney detective. So that one I am also intrigued to pick up because it is set in Australia. So those are the last 10 ebooks that I acquired. I will, fingers crossed, get to them soon. Maybe next year I'll have to do something like where I make sure I've read all of these 10 ebooks that I film in these haphazard ebook hauls. Could throw it into my book haul revisited series. That would be fun. Possibly more stressful than it currently is. Something to think about. In the comments, let me know if you have read any of these books, or feel free to let me know the last ebook that you acquired. Or if you want to let me know that you were here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave the little DNA helix thingy in the comments. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. Words are clearly failing me today. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you are staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.